Well, Eric brought in World War II propaganda audio.
Oh.
What?
Did he pick up at Auschwitz?
Yeah, did he get this at the Auschwitz gift shop during his tour?
On the way down. I got some gold teeth.
And
a
it's
little Auschwitz T-shirt.
It's songs and other things that we did to kind of rally the nation and rally the troops.
Uh-huh.
I had a gas in Auschwitz.
Oh.
You're Jewish, bro.
I know.
Yeah, he's a Jew with tattoos. How
Yeah.
how into it could he really be?
Listen, if I could get a cross on sale, I'd buy it.
Yeah. What made you get that first hat, knowing that you were pretty much throwing yourself out of your religion by getting it?
And you know what the sad thing is? I can't be buried in a Jew cemetery now, and I got a tattoo of a Jewish star, so I can't be buried in a Catholic.
It's like a Star of David. He tattoos. It's just doesn't make any sense.
You know what? That whole thing is bullshit about getting tattoos, and because they say you can't deface your body.
Right.
But how many Jews or people in general? But since we're on the Jews, get facelifts, nose jobs, earrings. That's all defacing.
That's a good point.
So if that's the case, then there'd be 2 people in the Jew cemetery. Okay.
That's a good point.
There you have it.
All right.
It's still not going to be able to get in with those tats.
I really care when I'm dead. I've died so many times on stage, but who cares?
The fact is, you do not die on stage.
I know, I don't.
You only die on the radio.
I don't. No, I've been reading the boards, and 33 out of 36 liked me last time.
All right.
Really?
Yeah, you're obsessed with those boards.
Oh,
they hate everything.
Huh?
They'll pick apart everything.
Oh, I live on
Anthony and I could go home knowing we just had a great show, and then you go on those message boards and they'll still pick it apart and find something they just didn't like. There was 2 minutes there that I thought the guys were really just not on top of their game.
Yeah. I was reading the boards last night. I was reading a little. Actually, I think I posted a couple of times. It was, did you like the old NEW show better than you like this show? They throw questions out for each other on the board. So I'm reading it, and some people are commenting how they loved the old show. They liked it better. We had better. One guy goes, we had better guests
on the old show.
On the old show, and he finds himself listening to the old MP3s of the old show instead of the replay of this show. And I had to remind him, great guests when we first started at NEW. People forget when we first started there. They're thinking of all the good stuff we did and all the stuff that's on MP3 that you could download. That wasn't the entire time we were there and every bit that we've ever done. How about Kenny Wayne Shepherd as one of our guests?
Sheryl Crow
with these great guests. How about when we had a break to play Do You Think I'm Sexy? If You Want My Body and You Think I'm Sexy, when we had to stop and play that because we were playing music. They forget the first few months we were at NEW.
Few months. It was about the first year.
About a year.
Basically, what they're listening to is 4 years of our greatest hits.
Right.
We've only done 3 months here at XM Satellite.
And I think our first 3 months here blows away the first 3 months at NEW.
Without a doubt.
And it's only going to get better and as time goes by. But these morons get on there and just start critiquing it like we've been, like we were at NEW. We're still at NEW, but this is the show we're doing now. We just changed. And
No. It's a work in progress.
Not only that, you think of it this way. We were off the air for a couple of years. Now, if we were on the air during that time, we would have changed because our show has constantly changed over time.
I believe it's evolving.
Right. And you wouldn't have really noticed it because we would have been on the air for those 2 years. It's like watching somebody, and you see them, you don't notice their hair is getting longer or something. But if you don't see them for a couple of years and they never got a haircut, you'd go, wow, the guy got long hair.
Wow, he really changed.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if we were on the air, you wouldn't have noticed the change. But in 2 years, we changed as people. We have different opinions about life, things. And we discuss maybe different topics in different ways on the show.
I'm not as angry anymore.
Right. It's just the way it is.
And people are, well, slow down. And the reason I'm not angry as much anymore is because I'm happy here.
There you go.
I was absolutely miserable at WNEW.
Yeah.
I felt like they just didn't get our show and the potential it had, even though we got syndicated and stuff, but it took forever to get syndicated, and they still didn't respect us or what we did, even though we were getting huge ratings all over the country. We were still being treated like second-class citizens, you know, and I took out my frustration on the management and the people we worked with and the equipment, because no one cared. You know, here they seem to, believe it or not, they seem to get it a lot more than the old place. So I'm not going to fake the anger.
No,
I'm actually happy.
Someone else posted, they didn't care. I liked when they didn't care if they got fired or not, and then used Sex for Sam as an example. It's like, excuse me, and I even posted on this one. I said, excuse me, there was never a point where we didn't care if we got fired.
The day before you guys got fired, we were supposed to do that tour, right? You know, it was going to be like in the
Voss was setting up this huge comedy tour.
Colin, Patrice, Norton. Yeah. So the day before I go out and buy a new Mercedes, right? And next day you get fired, and I'm sitting with a $450 car payment and nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
And me and Opie are high-fiving each other, going, "Yeah, we did it. We got fired, just like we wanted to."
You know, in the long run, it helped us, and we said that all along when we were off the air. We had to get past the fact that we weren't going to do radio for over 2 years, but Anthony and I talked a lot saying, you know, eventually this is only, believe it or not, going to make us bigger. That's just how this crap works.
We never try to get fired. Jesus. You insane?
Norton and I would still at nights.
That was
depression.
That was one of the tamer things we've done. Yeah. Believe it or not. And you go, what? Are you kidding? We could list a bunch of things that we should have got fired for, but we didn't.
Yep.
But even the message boards. I mean, you'll get some good posts. I mean, Cringe usually has good stuff.
CringeHumor.net.
Yeah, I think
there's some cool people. Actually, the majority of the people are pretty cool on the message boards, but there's a few of them that just either they really don't get it, or they're just plain stupid people. Like, there are some real morons that post, and you're like, what are you? You're a complete idiot.
I used to read the message boards from Last Comic Standing, and when we did one show where it was a roast. We roasted Jay Moore. It was a roast, and people on the message boards go, well, they were kind of mean. He was sarcastic. It's a roast, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, don't you get the definition of a roast?
You know,
when you're being completely sarcastic on this show, and you say something, and someone posts like you meant what you said.
Yeah, it's only 50,000, Jim Norton.
Yeah. You know, hey, Jim,
maybe 50,000 isn't a lot for you, but for
that is a perfect example.
I'm like, are you kidding? It was the sarcasm. Obviously, $50,000 is a lot of money.
That's the joke. You know, Jimmy's sitting there complaining that he lost out on $50,000.
He was supposed to get a huge raise just before we got fired.
And Opie goes, relax, Jim. It's only $50,000.
It's no big deal.
Meaning, that's a lot of money.
I'm just busting his balls, you know.
And somebody writes, Opie shouldn't say $50,000 isn't a lot of money. It makes him look. And you gotta respond. You gotta respond with, "You are the dumbest son of a bitch I've ever read from."
You do.
That's why you
can't
can't take the message board seriously.
Well, you can't. But there's certain people. There's one guy, Kid Nigger, Africa. I don't remember his name.
Kid Africa.
We used to fight back and forth all the time,
Yeah.
And he's probably just some little, fat, dumpy guy that doesn't leave the house, doesn't get laid, and he sits there in his life.
And you're getting all pissed off, slamming the keyboard.
Out of my mind.
Dude, I don't get pissed off anymore. It used to drive me nuts. It's funny, OpieAnthony.net, they've been begging me to promote them more, and hey, we noticed you haven't been on the board lately, so I'm like, might as well go on and see what these guys are up to. It's been a while. And right away, there's like 2 or 3 threads just trashing me. I'm like, well, all right, I'll see you guys later.
That's what they do. How can trash you? It's your name is the title.
It's amazing. It's a whole thread about
what they do.
What I do and don't do for the radio show. People don't understand what it takes to put this together at all. We all understand our roles.
They hear it coming out of the speaker, and that's it. There's no clue as to what each of our roles are, how important everyone is, how the show couldn't be the show without each person in their place doing what they do. But, you'll read on the message board and just go, shut up, you uninformed tool.
It used to drive me nuts because people don't understand all the stuff I do behind the scenes that makes this show. Okay, that's one of my big roles as far as the Opie and Anthony program goes. But like Ed said, they only understand what comes through the speaker.
Right. So nothing as to the organization of the show.
So if I'm not funny enough, all of a sudden I'm like, some drag on the radio program or something.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? Nowadays, without instead of reviews, this and that, big actors and musicians are going to message boards too.
You absolutely know it.
Everybody is like, for movies. Probably Dustin Hoffman sitting home going, I don't believe they just said this about me. I did Marathon.
Yeah, of course, because we're all human and we all have egos. And
there are some people that acknowledge it, and other people don't. But they all read them.
You got to read them because it's a review almost. So you're almost like drawn into it.
Kevin Smith has his own website, viewaskew.com, and he's got a message board on there, and he posts on it, and and they did a whole goof on it on Jay and Silent Bob, where they were goofing on the fact that their fans just tool them. You are fucking clown shoes. It's hysterical, man. And they'll pound you, but these celebrities just pop on and start reading.
But with all that said, I believe pretty much everything should be on the message boards. I mean, Howard Stern has a message board, and you trash him or you're a fan of this show and you go on there, you're instantly banned. We just don't do that type of thing.
We don't have a message board, is what it is.
Right.
Officially, we don't run a message board.
Right.
So it's not like we
let the fans do it.
But you got to admit they are.
And there's message boards that come and go because there's things that make one message board more popular than the other.
Well, there's three. There's the three that I go to.
There's a lot more than that. There's a wowfans.com. There's cringehumor.net, opieanthony.net,
and each one of these
whackbag.com. There was Save Opie and Anthony. I don't even know if that's around anymore.
There are some of these websites that these guys run, and they have their own rules and regulations on them as to what they want added on there and what they won't allow and language they won't allow, things like that. And that's their prerogative, It's their message board. I love when people go on there and go, why was my post deleted? Freedom of speech. It's not freedom of speech. It's this guy's message board, and it's up to him what he wants or doesn't want on it. People are so quick to pull out that freedom of speech. You pay the bandwidth charges, asshole.
Right.
And then we'll see. Then you could say what should or shouldn't be on there.
I had a message board on my website. That lasted a day, like the first three posts. Go fuck yourself, you stink. I want to bang your daughters. This coming down. It's coming down.
I can't deal with this.
This is coming right down.
All from Jimmy Norton.
Kill yourself.
See, Anthony and I have been doing this internet thing we were one of the first radio shows. We really were. I mean, we were way in the beginning when Ant was updating. After the show when honestly, when not many people had computers in their homes yet, and this is only going back like 10, not even 10 years.
It's when people still had like those old 486s in their house, and you watched pictures scroll down, and it took forever to download a little piece of pornography.
Still does on mine.
Yeah, we got excited because we had a real popular show in Boston, and our website back then, if we got 100 hits, we're like, oh my god, wow, this is unbelievable. Now we get. Foundry Music gets, I don't even know anymore, but a ridiculous amount of hits every day.
We were videotaping stuff, putting video clips up on the websites, which back then was just unheard of. There was no compression, so these files were giant. I got a bandwidth charge 1 month for like $5,000 back then, and I was making nothing. I lost my mind. I did not know, because who knew, I had this server, and I didn't read any fine print. I'm like, I'll put stuff up on this website, and people can download it. And I'm taking video of these girls that are coming into the studio doing things, and uncompressed. I'm taking uncompressed video and putting it up for people to download. And they're downloading it, and bandwidth up the ass. And I get this bill, and I lost my mind. I called the guy at the server and was just like, you got to help me out here. I can't pay this. I can't do this.
You got to help me out and tell me what uncompressed means.
Oh. No.